Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price, beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, January the 8th. Here's something for you to think about. Could we have a major earthquake here in central Missouri? Well, February is Earthquake Awareness Month, and this being January, we're a month away, but we thought it'd be interesting to talk about it, and we have an expert with us today. ERIC SANDVOL, welcome to Radio Friends, ERIC.
Thank you very much.
And you are with the University of Missouri, but I consider you an earthquake specialist. So my first question to you today is, could we in central Missouri have a major earthquake like they have in California or like we had in southeastern Missouri?
It's a very interesting question, and the probability, the likelihood is very small. Essentially, the answer to your question is no.
So you're here in central Missouri, it's impossible for us to have a major earthquake.
Extremely unlikely. And when I say major, I mean greater than magnitude 4 or 5.
But anything is possible also.
Sure. The Earth is very complex, so yeah, that's right.
Why do you say that?
So, right, that's a good question. In fact, earthquakes occur along breaks in the Earth. They're called faults. And we have faults here in Columbia. There are faults around, but they're not active faults. They're faults that had earthquakes on them many tens or hundreds of millions of years ago. But an active fault zone we do have is in southeast Missouri. It's called the New Madrid Seismic Zone. It's a series of faults there. And 200 years ago, we had 3, possibly 4 major earthquakes. By major, I mean greater than magnitude 7. And a devastated region, in fact, caused the last one of those series, caused the Mississippi River to flow north for a day.
The river actually reversed course.
That's right. That was a kind of earthquake that had caused a portion of the Earth to move up, and that moving up caused the Mississippi River to flow north for a day. But it was a cataclysmic event at that time. Very few people here, and it was very primitive settlements. And there was, in fact, nobody who at least wrote anything down here in central Missouri. So we're not 100% sure of if that happened again today, and that's certainly possible. What we would feel or experience here in central Missouri and here in Columbia. We would certainly feel it. We would more than feel it. There would probably even be some damage. It wouldn't be catastrophic damage like they would experience down much closer to the earthquake epicenter.
Why would we feel it so far away?
It's an excellent question. So, for instance, if we look at earthquakes and how far their effects are felt in California, and you measured and looked at similar distance, you would never feel a similar magnitude earthquake in California. And the reason is the Earth's crust here in California and here are fundamentally different. The Earth's crust and even the portions below the crust are much more hot and much more broken up and destroyed.
Here?
No, in California.
In California.
And so what happens is these waves, the energy of these waves get absorbed much more quickly than here in Missouri, where the crust is cold and strong, and these waves propagate kind of like waves through a SOFAR channel in the oceans. They propagate very efficiently, and we've actually done some research and published on this and it's well known even from historical accounts from these earthquakes in the central and eastern U.S. that their effects are felt much more broadly, an order of magnitude more broadly.
So if there was a major quake on the New Madrid Fault,
right,
we would feel it here.
You would more than feel it. It would rattle things and shake things around a lot, and perhaps would even cause some damage. How much damage, exactly the type of damage, we really don't know for sure. It's difficult to predict this, and we really can't say a lot of it because nobody wrote anything down what they might have felt in 1811 and 1812 for those 3 or 4 series of earthquakes. But what we do know is east of us, where people did write down, that there was damage as far as Ohio and West Virginia, rang a bell in Boston. So
wait, the New Madrid earthquake in Missouri rang a bell as far to the northeast
and
as
caused
Boston.
significant damage in Ohio. So that's why if that event repeated itself, it would be a very, very significant event.
Are we prepared for something like that here?
So I am a member of the Missouri Seismic Safety Commission, and it's our job to help prepare the Missouri government and the governor for an event like this.
Are we prepared?
We have a ways to go. And it's hard, because it's hard to prepare for an event that happened 200 years ago and may not yet happen for 50, 100, or we don't know how much in the future. It's
Could it
difficult to
happen?
prepare.
Could it happen next week?
It could.
Are there any warning signs?
No, that's the hard part, and it's the frustrating part, is that seismologists can't predict earthquakes. And we've tried hard, and there are some seismologists, and I even lean this way, that we think that earthquakes will never be able to be predicted. It's just Earth is too complex. There may be something called precursors, an event that happens that tell us the big earthquake has happened, but we haven't found that magic precursor yet. So the best we can do is we can make a forecast, a statistical prediction of the likelihood for another big event. And that's the United States Geological Survey's job, and they have said there's a significant likelihood of another significant seismic event in Missouri. And of course, we've also had an increased amount of seismicity in the central U.S. from hydrocarbon production as well. So we have a lot of earthquakes now that we didn't have before in Oklahoma and Arkansas and these places as well.
What kind of structural damage could we see with our homes and office buildings the way they are built today?
So I get this question a lot, and and again, we don't know for sure how much damage we would have here in central Missouri. There would certainly be significant damage all along the New Madrid seismic zone and some of the major metropolitan areas like St. Louis and Memphis if those events repeated themselves today. The building codes just tend not to be as strict for a lot of the buildings. For some of the key buildings, they've used fairly strict building codes for hospitals and some key government facilities. But for a lot of the other buildings, the codes just aren't as strict as they are, say, in California. And so we might expect more damage there. Here in central Missouri and Columbia, it's difficult to know exactly what kind of damage. I think probably one of the biggest concern would be bridges. And the reason is the bridges span from very competent, strong limestone to very soft alluvium within the Missouri River Basin, and that soft alluvium would amplify the signal, and you would get a lot of differential shaking.
Well, you're giving us a lot to think about here. Hopefully it will not happen for a very, very long time.
And that's possible too.
Or it may never happen.
That is probably unlikely. I would say that's probably unlikely. There is a very small minority of my colleagues who think it'll never happen, but most of us are worried that it will eventually happen. We just don't know how long.
Okay. If people want more information, where can they go for this?
So a good place is go look up the Missouri Seismic Safety Commission website, mssc.missouri.edu. Or they can attend, if you have a business and you want to know how to prepare for a big earthquake, go to the Quake Smart Business Summit, which is going to be in Cape Girardeau on February 3rd of 2016.
Okay. Will you come back again? You
Absolutely.
Are so interesting. Thank you. Monday, Talking Hearts Theater and OSHA Lifelong Learning. Hopefully, we won't see an earthquake in here anytime soon. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director is Rachel Gangware. And our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouser.